The use of NFTs has really exploded this year, and it's been surpassed only by the breathless media coverage of NFTs and the NFT marketplace. Most of that reporting has focused on the dollar value of the transactions. So there have been a lot of reports, for example, about Beeple's sale of an individual artwork connected to an NFT for $69 million, about cryptopunk NFTs selling for over $1 million each, and now more than one NFT being sold on NBA Top Shot for over $200,000, where they're connected to individual moments, such as a LeBron James slam dunk. And because of this large dollar value transaction history, there's been a kind of gold rush mentality where people are rushing in to make NFTs, sell NFTs, purchase NFTs. And some people aren't really pausing to understand what it is that is being bought and sold and what the legal implications are of those sales. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what an NFT is, what some common misconceptions are about NFTs, and finally some legal issues that anyone entering into an NFT transaction should consider. The starting point for understanding NFTs is that NFT stands for non-fungible token. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, it's a token, which means it is a token on a blockchain. It can be on a decentralized blockchain like Ethereum. It can also be on a blockchain that was developed specifically for use by NFTs. So for example, there's a Flow blockchain, which is the blockchain that NBA Top Shot tokens are on. And there's a Wax blockchain, which a number of different NFT projects are based on. And the Ethereum blockchain, which is very widely used and not primarily by NFTs, is the basis for a number of other NFTs. For example, CryptoPunks and CryptoKitties both were created and are located on the Ethereum blockchain. So what does it mean for these tokens to be non-fungible? Well, it means they are unique. So unlike cryptocurrencies, which tend to be fungible, just like the US dollar is fungible, any $1 can be substituted for another dollar, the NFTs, each one is supposed to be unique. They're not easily substituted because they stand for different things. And that's why you have them connected to collectibles. So for example, just like one football card can't be substituted for another football card. They're different players. Each one is unique. Each NFT can be unique. And that's true whether it's connected to sports memorabilia or artwork or songs that are created or plots of land in virtual space. Each one is supposed to be unique. One additional thing that is critical to keep in mind about NFTs is that an NFT itself is just a token. So many NFTs have other uses and other functionalities off the blockchain. And many NFT sales involve the sales of things that are completely separate from the NFT. But in order to understand the legal implications of the sale of an NFT, it's critical to keep in mind that the NFT itself is just a blockchain token. There are several very common misunderstandings among people who buy and sell NFTs. And the first is the confusion of the NFT itself with the use of that NFT. So for example, people who buy NFTs on NBA Top Shot are often very interested in the moment that they're buying. But it's critical to keep in mind that what they actually buy is a token on the Flow blockchain. They may enjoy watching the video on a website, but that token does not reside on the website. It's on the blockchain, and a website is not a blockchain. And the video they're watching is also not the token that they're buying. The token is something independent both of the video and of the website on which they are viewing the moment that they really enjoy, and often it's the real motivation for the NFT purchase. So I find it useful to conduct a thought experiment. Whenever you're trying to think through what it is that you're actually buying with the NFT, imagine that the website that you're looking at no longer exists, or whatever platform that is interacting with the NFT no longer exists. The only thing that's there is the underlying blockchain itself and your token on that blockchain. That is what you're buying. And it's very common for people to misunderstand that, and it's a critical distinction to keep in mind. The second most common misunderstanding is thinking that an NFT transaction only involves the sale of an NFT. While that can be the case, it typically is not the case. It's much more common for people to buy some other rights along with the NFT. They may be buying rights that they can use on a particular platform, like a web page that they use. It may have certain functionality within a game that they're playing. Or in addition, it may have certain rights to underlying artwork that is connected to the NFT. And it may involve a conveyance of intellectual property. It may not involve a conveyance of intellectual property. But that's the second critical thing to keep in mind whenever you're participating in an NFT sale. First, what is the NFT that I'm buying? And second, what other rights are going to come along with the NFT that I'm purchasing? The fact that NFTs are often misunderstood does not mean that they're not really useful and really valuable. In fact, I personally think that we're just beginning to scratch the surface of the value that NFTs can bring to virtual spaces, in addition to the value that they have for collectibles. In fact, I personally own dozens of NFTs. But I'm not here to be a cheerleader for NFTs. I'm here to identify some specific legal issues that everyone should keep in mind when they enter into a transaction that involves NFTs. So first of all, intellectual property. It's critical to keep in mind what intellectual property you're purchasing, whether you're purchasing any intellectual property, for example, to an underlying artwork, and to specify that in the contract through which you're buying the NFT. Second of all, you want to keep in mind whether there's any actual physical property. In addition to intellectual property, there have been a number of NFT sales that have involved simultaneous sales and connected sales of physical property. So that's included NFTs for albums that came with physical vinyl pressings. And you've also seen sales, for example, of cards, sports memorabilia cards, where there's a physical card that is part of the transaction, as well as a digital card that is located both on the blockchain and then reproduced on a website. A third thing that needs to be specified is within the terms of use or the contract is any rights that you have to use a platform. So along with a sale, you may be purchasing some specific rights that can be used, for example, in a video game that you're playing or on a website that you enjoy using. And it's critical to keep in mind that those rights need to be reflected in the contract under which you're purchasing the NFT. A fourth thing that you need to look into is tax implications. So the purchase and sale of NFT can result in profit and loss. And Uncle Sam's going to be interested in that. So you need to keep in mind that participating in these kinds of transactions can have tax implications. In addition, there can be money transmission issues. So in particular, if you are building a new platform or a new site that will involve the purchase and sale of NFTs, you have to keep in mind that means that there's going to be real economic value coming into your system and leaving your system. And if you're not careful, you can end up taking on the responsibility of a money transmitter that is obligated to register as a money services business. And if that's what you want to do, you need to take care to comply with both federal and state regulatory requirements for a money transmitter. And finally, there's the implication that really should be considered in almost any major new blockchain-based transaction or platform, which is whether there are securities law implications. So generally, collectibles are not securities, but it is possible to build an NFT that would ultimately function as a security and would be subject to federal securities law. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind, but there's also a lot of opportunity out there. So if you have questions, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk them through with you.